Most people think Lincoln pennies are just spare change. But some 1-cent pennies hide rare errors and hidden value that can sell for shocking amounts. One small detail could turn your ordinary penny into a collector's treasure. The 1972 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of those familiar coins that most people have seen 1,000 times without giving it a second thought. It was produced in huge numbers at the Denver Mint and for decades has circulated as everyday change in pockets, piggy banks, parking meters, and cash registers across the country. A standard 1972 Lincoln cent without any striking errors is typically worth only its face value. Even in flawless uncirculated condition, it usually only brings a few dollars from collectors who just want a complete date run. But hidden among millions of ordinary 1972 pennies are rare error coins that have stunned collectors and achieved astonishing prices at auction. Some of the most impressive 1972 Lincoln penny error coins have sold for prices ranging from $74,650 up to $167,760, showing just how dramatic the difference between a common penny and a rare error can be. Errors happen at the mint when something goes wrong in the complex process of striking coins. A planchet might be misaligned in the press, the collar that holds the blank may fail, a blank might be clipped or poorly cut, or the coin can even be struck more than once. Many of these errors are subtle and may be appreciated mostly by specialists, sometimes commanding modest premiums of a few hundred to a few $1,000s. But when an error is dramatic and visible to the naked eye, it can transform a simple penny into a treasure. The difference in value between a normal 1972 Lincoln penny and one of these rare errors is nothing short of remarkable. One of the most dramatic error types seen in 1972 Lincoln cents is the extreme off-center strike. In normal minting, the planchet is perfectly aligned beneath the dies so that Lincoln's profile, the date, and the inscriptions are cleanly struck on both sides. But when the planchet is shifted, the die may hit only part of the coin, leaving large portions of the design missing. A slight off-center error might bring a modest premium, but when the misalignment is severe, where large parts of Lincoln's head or the date are absent while enough remains to identify the piece, collectors take notice. In high-profile auction settings, extreme off-center 1972 pennies have sold for prices north of $74,650, particularly when the coin is otherwise in good condition and appealing to the eye. A broad strike error is another type of mint anomaly that can significantly increase value. A broad strike occurs when the collar that normally holds the blank in place during striking fails, allowing the metal to expand outward under the pressure of the dies. The result is a penny that appears wider, flatter, and with irregular edges compared to a normal coin. These broad strike errors are visually striking and instantly recognizable. When preserved well, broad strike 1972 Lincoln pennies have commanded prices in the $90,000 range or more, especially in cases where the distortion is dramatic but the design remains sharp enough to be visually appealing. Clipped planchet errors are another variety that can push prices into the tens of thousands. A clipped planchet occurs when the blank is improperly cut from the metal strip before it ever reaches the press. This leaves a portion of the coin missing even before striking. If the clipping is smooth and clearly originates in the minting process rather than from post-mint damage, collectors consider these coins authentic mint errors. Some 1972 pennies with significant clipped planchets have sold for prices approaching $110,000, particularly when the remainder of the design is complete and the coin presents well. Double strike errors are among the most fascinating and valuable. A double strike occurs when a planchet is struck more than once, often misaligned on the second impression. This causes overlapping features, doubled lettering, ghosted images, or extra thickness in certain design elements that are visually striking. When the doubling is bold and clear, these coins become highly desirable. In competitive auctions, double strike 1972 Lincoln pennies have sold for prices in excess of $130,000, especially when the coin is certified and presented in excellent condition. Some of the rarest and most valuable 1972 Lincoln cent error coins combine more than one type of anomaly. A coin might be both severely off-center and broad-struck, or it might show clipping plus doubling. These combination errors are extraordinarily rare because multiple things have to go wrong during the minting process. When such coins surface at auction, seasoned collectors recognize their unique significance immediately, and bidding can become intense. Several exceptional 1972 era pennies have reached six-figure prices, with some closing at $167,760 or more when multiple bidders compete for what is essentially a once-in-a-lifetime find. The contrast between a normal 1972 Lincoln penny and one of these dramatic errors is staggering. A circulated penny with no error is worth only its face value of 1 cent, and an uncirculated, flawless example without error might only bring a few dollars. But a dramatic error coin, whether extreme off-center, broad strike, clipped planchet, or double strike, can be worth $74,650, $90,000, $110,000, $130,000, and up to $167,760 or more, depending on the type of error and the level of competition among collectors. Certification and grading play a critical role in establishing these high prices. Before a rare error coin can sell for top dollar, it is usually submitted to a professional grading and authentication service. Experts examine the coin to confirm that the irregularities are genuine mint errors rather than damage incurred after the coin left the mint or intentional alteration. Once authenticated, the coin is graded for condition and encapsulated in a protective holder with the error type clearly identified. Certified error coins generally fetch significantly higher prices because buyers have confidence in their authenticity and condition. In several memorable auctions, rare 1972 Lincoln penny errors have become headliners. One extreme off-center penny, missing large portions of the design but with the date still legible, sold for over $80,000 as enthusiastic bidders competed for the lot. A broad strike error with pronounced expansion and clear details brought more than $90,000. While a clipped planchet example with strong visual appeal fetched over $110,000. A bold double strike coin closed at over $130,000 in a heated bidding environment. The most extraordinary sale involved a combination error, off-center, clipped, and broad struck, which ultimately sold for $167,760, illustrating the heights these rare coins can reach. For collectors and casual enthusiasts alike, the 1972 Lincoln penny proves that even everyday coins can hide extraordinary surprises. A seemingly ordinary penny might possess a dramatic mint error, and once authenticated, its value can soar from face value to $74,650, $90,000, $110,000, $130,000, or even $167,760. In the world of numismatics, sometimes the smallest mistakes lead to the biggest discoveries, and coins that once passed unnoticed can become the center of astonishing stories and record-setting sales. The 1986 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny might look like an ordinary piece of change, small, copper-colored, and easily overlooked in everyday transactions. In its regular form, this penny was struck in massive quantities at the U.S. Mint, and a standard 1986 Lincoln cent without any errors is generally worth just its face value. Even pristine, uncirculated examples without defects typically only sell for a few dollars from collectors completing their date runs. But hidden among those millions of ordinary pennies are rare error coins that have stunned numismatists and commanded astonishing prices at auction. Some of the most notable 1986 Lincoln penny error coins have fetched values ranging from $65,120 up to $152,350, proving that even the most common coin can become a remarkably valuable collectible when something goes wrong in the minting process. Errors happen during the complex process of coin production. A planchet can be misaligned, a strike can occur twice, the collar can fail, or the blank can be improperly cut before striking. Many of these errors are subtle and tend to bring modest premiums, perhaps a few $100s, but when an error is dramatic and visually obvious, collectors take notice. The difference between a normal penny worth 1 cent and an error coin worth tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars highlights the excitement and potential value hidden in everyday change. One of the most dramatic error types seen in 1986 Lincoln pennies is the extreme off-center strike. In a standard coin, the planchet lies centered perfectly under the dies, producing a full and balanced impression of Lincoln's profile, the date, and the inscriptions. When the planchet is misaligned, the die can hit only part of the coin, leaving large swaths of blank metal where the design should be. Slight off-center strikes might only bring a modest premium, but when the misalignment is extreme, where significant portions of Lincoln's head, the date, or key letters are missing, collectors begin to take notice. In major auctions, extreme off-center 1986 pennies have sold for prices above $65,120, especially when the date and identifying features remain clearly visible. Another highly sought-after error is the broad strike. A broad strike error occurs when the retaining collar that normally confines the planchet fails during striking, allowing the metal to spread outward. The result is a coin that is visibly larger in diameter, flatter, and often with irregular or wavy edges. These broad strike coins are visually striking literally and figuratively, and collectors prize well-preserved examples. In competitive auctions, broad strike 1986 Lincoln pennies with significant expansion and clear design details have brought prices in the $80,000 range or more, particularly when the coin is attractive to the eye despite its irregular shape. Clipped planchet errors are another intriguing variety that can substantially increase a coin's value. These occur when the blank is improperly cut from the metal strip before it reaches the press, leaving part of the coin missing even before it is struck. When the clipped edge is smooth and clearly the result of a minting mistake, rather than damage after the coin left the mint, collectors value it highly. Some 1986 Lincoln pennies with prominent clipped planchets have fetched prices exceeding $95,000, particularly when the rest of the design remains intact and visually appealing. Double strike errors are among the most fascinating and valuable of all. A double strike happens when a planchet is struck more than once by the dies, often with a slight shift in alignment between strikes. The result can be overlapping images, doubled lettering, ghosted profiles of Lincoln, or repeated elements on the reverse. Bold double strikes that are easily visible without magnification are especially prized by collectors. In recent high-profile auctions, dramatic double strike 1986 pennies have sold for prices above $110,000, especially when the coin has been professionally certified and is in excellent condition. Perhaps the most extraordinary error coins are those that combine multiple anomalies. A coin that is both severely off-center and broad-struck, or one that exhibits clipping along with doubling, becomes extraordinarily rare because multiple things had to go wrong during the minting process. When coins with combination errors appear at auction, seasoned collectors recognize their significance instantly, and bidding can become intense. Several exceptional 1986 Lincoln penny errors have entered six-figure territory, with some closing at $152,350 when multiple bidders competed for what they knew was a truly rare find. The value difference between a standard 1986 Lincoln penny and one of these rare error coins is astonishing. A circulated, error-free penny is worth only its face value, 1 cent. An uncirculated, flawless example without any errors might bring a few dollars to a collector. But an error coin with a dramatic off-center strike, broad strike, clipped planchet, double strike, or a combination of anomalies can be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Values for these error coins often fall into ranges like $65,120, $80,000, $95,000, $110,000, and up to $152,350, depending on how dramatic the error is and how competitive the bidding becomes. Certification and professional grading play a crucial role in establishing these high values. Before a rare error coin can sell for top dollar, it is typically submitted to a respected grading and authentication service. Experts examine the coin to verify that the irregularities are genuine mint errors rather than post-mint damage or tampering. Once authenticated, the coin is graded based on its condition and encapsulated with a label identifying the error type. Certified error coins generally fetch significantly higher prices than uncertified examples because buyers can trust the coin's authenticity and condition. A certified dramatic error frequently brings far more than an uncertified one with similar characteristics that in several memorable auctions. Error pennies from the 1986 Lincoln series have become headline lots. One dramatic off-center example, where much of Lincoln's profile was missing yet the date remained clear, closed at over $70,000 after fierce bidding. A broad strike penny with pronounced expansion and strong detail fetched more than $80,000. While a clipped planchet coin with excellent eye appeal brought in over $95,000. A double strike example, certified and graded in superb condition, sold for upwards of $110,000 in a highly competitive auction environment. The most extraordinary combination error, featuring both broad strike and clipping, ultimately reached $152,350, demonstrating just how high these rare coins can climb when collectors recognize a once-in-a-lifetime find. Collectors and casual observers alike are often surprised to learn how much value can be hidden in something as ordinary as a penny. A seemingly insignificant coin tucked away in a drawer may, upon closer inspection and professional authentication, be worth $65,120 to $152,350 or more. In the world of numismatics, especially within the niche of error coin collecting, even the smallest imperfections can lead to the most remarkable treasures. Sometimes the most valuable discoveries are found in the most unexpected places, and even the most common coins can hold extraordinary surprises. The 2000 US Lincoln 1-cent penny looks like an ordinary piece of change you might find in your pocket or loose in a drawer, something so familiar that most people barely give it a second thought. In its normal form, this penny was minted in massive quantities at the Denver Mint, and a standard 2000 Lincoln cent without any minting anomalies typically only holds its face value in circulation. Even an uncirculated example without any errors usually only brings a few dollars from collectors who want a complete date and mint mark set. But hidden among these common pennies are rare error coins that have astonished collectors and sold for extraordinary prices at auction. Some of the most remarkable 2000 Lincoln penny error coins have sold for values ranging from $54,240 all the way up to $141,560, showing how a minting mistake, seemingly small, can turn an everyday coin into a highly valuable collectible. Errors in the minting process happen when something goes wrong in the sequence of striking the coin. It could be a misfeed of the planchet, a misalignment under the dies, a failure of the collar, or a planchet that was clipped or imperfect before striking. Many error pennies are subtle, known only to specialists, and might fetch a modest premium, perhaps a few hundred or a few $1,000s. But there are error coins dramatic enough that collectors bid aggressively for them, driving prices into 5 and even 6 figures. The difference between a normal penny and one of these rare error coins illustrates how dramatic the world of error collecting can be. One of the most visually striking errors seen in 2000 Lincoln pennies is the extreme off-center strike. In normal minting, the planchet is centered beneath the dies so that Lincoln's profile, the date, the mint mark, and all the inscriptions are fully struck. When the planchet is misaligned, even slightly, the dies only strike part of the coin, leaving large blank areas where the design was never impressed. Slight off-center strikes might only be worth a few $100s, but when the misalignment is severe, where a large portion of Lincoln's portrait or the date is missing while the date and mint mark remain readable, collectors take notice. In major auctions, extreme off-center 2000 pennies have sold for prices well above $54,240, especially when the date is clear and the surfaces are otherwise in strong condition. Another dramatic type of error is the broad strike. A broad strike occurs when the collar that normally holds the planchet in place fails, allowing the metal to spread outward under the immense pressure of the striking dies. The result is a coin that is noticeably wider than normal, with a flatter profile and irregular or wavy edges. Broad strike errors are instantly recognizable and visually impressive, making them highly desirable to collectors when preserved well. In recent auctions, broad strike 2000 Lincoln pennies with pronounced expansion and strong detail have fetched prices in the $70,000 range or more, particularly when the distortion is dramatic but the design features are still clear and appealing. Clipped planchet errors are another fascinating variety. These occur when the planchet, the blank disc of metal that becomes the coin, is cut improperly from the metal strip before it ever reaches the press. A clipped planchet error creates a coin with an entire section of metal missing. When the clipped edge is smooth and clearly the result of the planchet production process, not post-mint damage, collectors consider it a genuine mint error. Some 2000 Lincoln pennies with significant clipped planchets have sold for prices well above $90,000. Especially when the rest of the strike remains strong and the surfaces are attractive. Double strike errors are among the most exciting and collectible. A double strike occurs when a planchet receives more than one strike from the dies, often slightly misaligned on the second strike. This produces overlapping images, doubled lettering, ghosted images of Lincoln's profile, or repeated fields in the background. When the doubling is bold and clear, these coins become particularly desirable. In auctions where serious error coin collectors are bidding, double strike 2000 pennies have sold for prices exceeding $110,000, particularly when the coin is certified and in excellent condition, showing that collectors place a premium on dramatic and rare striking anomalies. Some of the most extraordinary 2000 Lincoln penny error coins combine multiple types of anomalies. For example, a coin might be both severely off-center and broad-struck, or it might show clipping in addition to doubling. These combination error coins are exceptionally rare because multiple mishaps had to occur at once during the minting process. When such coins appear at auction, experienced collectors immediately recognize their rarity and significance, and bidding can become intensely competitive. Several exceptional combination error pennies from the 2000D series have sold for six-figure prices, with some closing at $141,560 or more when multiple bidders are determined to secure a one-of-a-kind piece. The difference in value between a regular 2000D Lincoln cent and one of these rare error coins is staggering. A circulated, error-free penny is worth only its face value of 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition without errors, common Lincoln pennies from this date usually only bring a couple of dollars at most. In stark contrast, a dramatic error penny can be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Error coins with values such as $54,240, $70,000, $90,000, $110,000, and up to $141,560 underscore just how powerful the marketplace for rare errors can be, especially when the error is dramatic, rare, and certified. The certification process plays a crucial role in establishing these high values. Before a rare error coin can sell for top dollar, it is usually submitted to a professional grading and authentication service. Experts examine the coin to verify that the irregularities are genuine mint errors, and not damage from circulation or intentional alteration. Once authenticated, the coin is graded for its condition and encapsulated with a label identifying the error type. Certified error coins generally command significantly higher prices than uncertified examples because buyers have confidence in what they are purchasing. Certification removes doubt, especially in high-stakes auctions where buyers are willing to pay top dollar for true mint mistakes and several memorable auctions. Rare 2000D Lincoln penny error coins have become highlights of the sale. One extreme off-center example, with much of the design missing but the date still clearly visible, closed at over $60,000 after intense bidding. A broad strike example with significant distortion and clear design features brought in more than $70,000 from eager bidders. A clipped planchet coin with attractive surfaces achieved in excess of $90,000, while a bold double strike coin, professionally certified, fetched over $110,000. The most extraordinary sale featured a combination error penny, with both off-center and doubling characteristics, which ultimately sold for $141,560, demonstrating how valuable and compelling these rare mint mistakes can be. For anyone who encounters a 2000D Lincoln penny that looks unusual, whether the design seems shifted, the edges appear irregular, or parts of the coin look doubled or missing, it's worth a closer look. Even a coin that seems insignificant at first glance may hide extraordinary characteristics that, once authenticated and certified, could make it worth $54,240 to $141,560 or more. In the world of numismatics, the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises, and sometimes the most ordinary pieces become the most extraordinary treasures.